Lord, that He's brought our team back from Haiti, and remind you to pray for the team right now in Nicaragua, and the team soon heading back to Liberia. Thank you for being a mission-minded church. And we must, if we follow Jesus, we must be concerned about the people across the street and the people across the world, right? I also want to thank you. So many of you were a part of the Into His Fields concert last night, worship gathering last night that took place after the Saturday evening service. And it was sponsored by Miriam's Heart, which is our ministry for orphans and adoptive care and foster care. And so many of you were a part of coming alongside of Miriam's Heart, and you were there, you cooked food, and you helped with logistics, and there was a great turnout. And also funds were raised for our orphanage for girls, the Transformation House for Girls in Liberia. So I want to just acknowledge so many of you who are a part of that, and thank you for that. I also want to say thank you to all of you who are part of our Urban Impact gathering yesterday, as we gathered with our young men and women from Jersey City and the Bronx and Brooklyn and Queens and New Brunswick and other areas as they came here as part of our year-round program. And particularly, there is an amazing core of young women from our church that show up faithfully. I'm looking at some of them right now. They show up faithfully to come alongside and to pour their love into these precious ones from very difficult circumstances in inner city. There's an amazing crop of young men and women here, and I want to thank you guys for being faithful and caring. It's a wonderful thing. I was over at Urban Impact early yesterday, and just talking with people and interacting with the kids, and it was 9:30. I finally whoa, it's 9:30, and I realized I was there in my jeans, and I was supposed to be in New Brunswick in a suit by 10 o'clock to do a wedding for John and Alita Eck's daughter, Hannah, and her now husband, Nick. And I had to go home, put on a suit, pick up Deb, my wife Deb, and get to New Brunswick. And we made it. We made it on time for the wedding, a beautiful wedding. And then Deb and I went on to the reception. And just when I was getting ready to show all my moves on the dance floor, at the reception, we got a call from Carrie Januts about Chris Januts being in the hospital. On his way to the hospital, they were fearful he's had a heart attack. And so we scrambled over there, and I was in this black suit, which people are not used to seeing me in. And Chris, by the time we got there, things were calming down, but Kari saw us and said, "Oh, Rob, Chris is going to think something's really wrong. You come in a black suit." And sure enough, when I walked in to see Chris in the ER, he's like, "Is it that bad?" So grateful, though. By the time Deb and I got there, Rich Dugan, our youth minister, was already there. And shortly after that, Harry and Francine Jacobson got there. So cool to see how the church responds to these things. And while we were there was another young family from our church that we saw. They were bringing their little son, Paul, into the pediatric ER with some challenges that all worked out good also. But we went in to see Paul, and he's never seen me. He's 4 years old or 3. He's never seen me in a suit. And it really shocked him. He just, when I walked in, "Pastor Rob's wearing a suit," he said, and we talked and prayed over him. And then I said, "Now, Paul," he was watching Transformers on the television. I said, "I have to go back home now because I have to put my church clothes on before I get to church." This was last night. So scrambled home, got my church clothes on, and they're still on. And it's good to be with you guys to worship the Lord today. We have just a few announcements. There's many more in your bulletin. If you have never been